Want to hear
We'll
it?
just,
We're live.
We'll just run into Thursday.
Okay, we have 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call tonight's meeting to order. If we could have the clerk call roll, please.
Mayor Grant,
Present.
Mrs. Carnahan,
Present.
Ms. Moss, Mr. Smith,
Present.
Mr. Roderick,
Present.
Attorney Bars,
Present.
Junior Counsel Morgan Wood,
Here.
Lillian Irwin, Jocelyn Barnett, Grace Hiller, and Camden Ashley, Caden Ashley. Okay,
Everybody must be on spring break. Thank you for being here, Morgan. Even though I spelled your name wrong again. At this time, I'd like everyone to please join me in thanking Scott Voorhees for his time and dedication to our city and to our community, and wish him well for the future. Scott left his position on the council effective 3/7 of 2025. And there'll be a caucus held sometime this month to pick his replacement amongst the Republican Party. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting of February 10th? So everybody had a chance to look at those?
I had a chance to read them, and I make the motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
A motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. There's the minutes.
did you sign them?
I did. Citizens petitions. Do we have anybody in the audience that would like to petition the council? We'll give you 3 minutes to talk. I've got you on the agenda down the road, Cindy. Okay, nothing
Never mind.
Nothing there. I was contacted by In-Home Heroes. They would like to have an Easter egg hunt on April 12th at Riley Field. They've done that in the past. I know Dwayne's worked with them on that. I told them it was probably okay, but I'd run it by the council just to make sure. So is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
I don't have any committee reports on the agenda. Are there anybody? Oh, any? Junior council concerns and reports. Morgan?
No.
Nothing? Department heads, Mr. Swank is out today and tomorrow. Chief Miller, do you have anything for the group?
Just real quick, car status report. After having 4 cars down last month, we have all but one up and running now. So that's a good feeling. Officer Albin has completed over 50% of his academy, and we expect him back middle of April. So we'll have him back ready to go by summer. We extended a conditional letter of employment to Officer Smith, which he accepted. We're waiting on some paperwork to finish, and he has a tentative start date of March 24th. So hopefully at the April meeting, everybody will get to meet him. That doesn't already know.
What's his first name?
Austin.
Oh, so he.
Austin's coming back?
It's a boomerang.
Oh, cool. Good.
That's
I was
awesome!
going to ask that question because I was thinking maybe it was a coincidence, but.
Yay!
Oh, good.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
So I let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
We've ordered new or different formatted parking sticker. We will, once those arrive, we're going to pretty much have a mass deployment of illegal parking concerns throughout the city. We're going to use those stickers as notices of violation. Give them an appropriate amount of time to correct that violation, and we'll proceed forward with ordinance violation. And traveling around the city, it's becoming a major problem. We're also going to start to tag vehicles from the hours of 3 to 5 o'clock in the morning down on North Perry Street in the business district of the city, and just clean up some parking issues. So as your constituents start to see bright orange stickers notifying them of their parking violation, approximately 48 hours to correct that violation or be subject to an ordinance violation. So we'll be cleaning some of that up and then getting geared up for some cleanup throughout the city with ordinance violations and those things. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Luke, oh, I'm sorry. Cindy, I've still got you on the agenda.
I know, can I just say something in regard to that?
Okay.
I just think that's great because I think we want, we say, you know, what can we do to make our city look better? And I think with the chief on that, that's key. And it really doesn't cost that much for people to park right, and it makes our city look 100% better. So kudos, chief, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There we go. Hold it, everybody.
Chief Little is working outside of town tonight, so he's not here. Mrs. Broadwater?
I sent out an email. I assume everybody read it regarding the annual financial report, the financials, and the minutes. Anybody have any questions regarding any of that? Okay, I didn't get any feedback,
It's
so.
gonna take me a little longer to get through it. There's a lot there.
Sure.
Well,
The only-
one thing it would help me, and I think it would help everybody else, is if we could have itemized our vendors and what they were paid in departments. Just because, for instance, when I asked about the Baker Tilly, you know, we paid them over $246,000, but it's in different departments and everything. But it'd be good to have a running list of everybody that we use quite a bit, just so we kind of know yearly where we're at and what we've been spending. That was,
Is it better to have like a top 10 or top 20?
that probably,
Maybe make it easier for.
just as far as where the bulk of our budget's going, so we kind of have a better feel for it.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do by budget
Okay.
time.
Thank you.
If nobody has any questions, the only thing I have to report is that all the reports were filed timely, and we're good to go.
Congratulations. That was a big effort.
You're welcome. Thanks. So,
Okay, go ahead and move to unfinished business, and I'll run through a couple of these. Rental housing inspections in addition to part-time position. Talked with Eric last week about that, and so far no takers, no applications on that. So we may have to reach out a little bit further than we've reached out to find somebody to fill that. I know that, you know, initially we just kind of posted it up on Facebook and did a push notification, but maybe we need to go a little bit further than that. I know Ingrid said that she put it out on one of your
Indeed.
somewhere. Yeah, but Indeed was where I was going to go. I was going to post it on Indeed.
I'll ask.
But she posted it somewhere and she wanted to know if that was okay. And I said, that's great. Thank you so much. So, haven't heard any more on the annexation of Harrison Hills and properties south. I did have a long conversation with one of the large property owners south of town the other day, and it was productive. And I've been working with Judd on some tax questions on that, but I haven't moved any further. And I know he's talked to Tom about that as well. Ambulance relocation progress. We're still working on pursuing the grant for the building for the ambulance relocation. I've not yet heard back, obviously, from the school because they don't know what they're going to do with the property yet, the old school building, and that's part of the property where we were looking at to relocate the building at. So more on that later. Council redistricting mandate recommendations of 6:30. I know we talked about that at the last meeting. I forwarded that on to the Fountain County Clerk, and she astutely pointed out that we left a couple of streets off of that map. Avenue 7 and Avenue 8 up in Elmdale were not included. And I don't know how I missed it or we
I
all
missed it
missed it,
too.
but nobody saw it on there. So I got a hold of the folks that did the map, and they're going to redo it and resubmit it. We're good until June 30th. So we've still got a little bit of time to adopt that, but it's not a done deal yet. And she's still working on, or they're still working on trying to make sure that doesn't change our lines anywhere for the people that are currently on the council. Upcoming cleanup days, I've got that set for April 18th and 19th at the sewage plant. That will not be a curbside pickup, as everybody here probably knows, due to the cost and the way our trash contract went. I have been talking with the football coach, and the team is going to be helping those in need for a free will donation. And how that's going to work, I think, is I came up with an application for folks to either get online or pick up here at the city hall and request a pickup from the football team. It'll be on a first come, first served basis. I reiterated on that this is not for bags of trash that you could put out in your dumpster every week. This is for couches, chairs, tables, things that won't fit in there. And hopefully it'll help the football team out and give them some community service time. And I think that's a great thing for them. So we really appreciate them doing that.
Will this be the only pickup this year?
No, Dwayne, there's
Okay.
4 of
Okay.
them. The first one will be in April. The next one will be in June.
Oh,
Is it? I've got it on my sheet and I didn't bring a copy of it, but there's 4.
Well, just know there's
Spread out.
extras. You don't have to do it in April if you don't.
No,
If you don't.
no. If you can't get it done in April, there'll be 3 more. The last one will be in early October.
Okay.
We're trying to get it done before the city guys have to start picking up leaves and
Sure.
things in the fall. So we'll have 4 opportunities.
Do we know exactly, I just want to make sure for anybody that's watching, do we know what they need to bring down for that and what the times are for the 18th and 19th?
I have a flyer to put out, and I've been hesitant to post it until I hear back from
That's fine.
the folks down in Crawfordsville. I'm trying to get them to bring up the recycling folks to bring up an electronics dumpster. We always end up with a lot of TVs and things sitting out along the curb, and I was trying to squash that a little bit. I know that they do something similar for the county, and been talking to some of those folks that Dwayne and I deal with at the county. But I haven't had a lot of luck with the people down at Crawfordsville yet. I called them just this afternoon, as a matter of fact, and they're going to get back with me. But there's a cost involved with that, and I don't know how much it is or any of the details yet. I'm trying to work out a deal with them where they can take the scrap metal and in lieu of paying for the electronics, but they haven't bid on that just yet. So I've hesitated to put out the dates and times, but we're looking at 8 to 4 on both of those days for the sewage plant to be open. And it's just like the pickup was, no tires, no batteries.
City bill, they have to bring in their city water bill.
You've got to bring a city water bill, a recent one, and your driver's license to dump there. I had somebody call and say, well, I've got an Attica address. And just because you've got an Attica address doesn't mean you got city water and doesn't mean you pay city taxes. I'm sorry.
Or you don't pay into the city trash.
Or
Do
you
we all
even live
pay
in
into-
Fountain County.
Yeah.
Yes, some people have Attica addresses, don't even live in Fountain County. So, and that was the reason why, honestly, that our trash contract went so high. We were looking at over $500,000 over the course of the contract, just because of the citywide pickup. So
Is that Walden who does that?
Yes.
Is it?
No, Walden's who does the electronics, but it's our trash
Cans.
it's trash cans, but they've been purchased by somebody else.
Yeah, Trash Cans
Oh.
is still the name of the company.
Okay.
Oh,
That we deal with for our trash pickup, but Walden is the one that I'm dealing with for the.
Well, Walden's, I think,
Electronics.
would also take batteries because those are pretty valuable. And I would think that
They may. I haven't broached that with them, but yeah, they
maybe
may.
throw that in the discussion
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. When she calls me back, I'll ask her that. Thank you.
Okay, so I live over in the trailer park and we don't pay our water bill, our landlord does.
Mhm.
And like, if we had stuff to get rid of, what would we?
You're
do
not the
since we
first
don't?
person to ask that. Somebody asked me that, and I think it's a good question. Somebody asked me that lived in some apartments here in town. And I think as long as you show that, like a rental slip that says I live here and I pay rent here, I think we would accept that. So if you have some kind of a bill or a document that says, here's where I live and here's where I'm paying rent at, I think we would accept that even though your water bill's included in your rent.
And your landlord does use the same trash company as we use.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
That's a good
thank
question.
you. That's a very good question. Somebody stopped me at the
Scooter did
restaurant
that.
the other day and asked me that
The
same
Scooter did
question.
that.
Yes.
I thought you looked familiar. I know who you are now.
Okay, didn't mean to beat that up, but that was a kind of a long, drawn out thing. Fire department renovations begin May 1st, and the target completion is December 31st. That's why you see the container out here. They had to get some things out of the fire department and move those out there. So, but they need to be at their ready if they need them. And that's why the container's out here rather than somewhere else on city property. Had to be close to the fire station. So, and I should mention that all the costs of that renovation are covered by grants and existing fire territory funds. It's not coming out of city tax funds. New business. Had a citizen come in and ask if we would look at dropping the speed limit out on South Brady Street in what I'll call the Boulevard area. That's due to a lot of cars parked in that area and children playing out there. I know the chief was out there just this past week looking at cars that were parked up in the grassy area in between the two north-south streets. And I told him that I'd bring that to the council. It's something we would look at.
You're not great at it.
Chief, what do you think?
I have no objections to it. I mean, we're starting to roll up here. We're gonna have a lot of activity. When you're driving 30 down most of our city streets, you're
fine.
That area's
moving.
always been a
You're
sweet.
And,
We
you know,
used to live up
oftentimes-
there. It's
Oftentimes,
always- People
Oh,
always
did you?
flew by.
we're getting a lot of complaints of, you know, people speeding down the streets. Well, you know, we sit out there and they're running 31 mile an hour.
Yeah.
And we're getting complaints that they're running 40 or 45, but when you're in that close of a vicinity to vehicles, houses, things like that, 30 looks like you're
Yeah, going
cooking
fast.
along pretty good. I was over in a city in my travels in Illinois here just a few weeks ago, and the sign as you came into the city was an ordinance sign stating that every city street inside the city was a 20 mile an hour speed zone, and they notified you when you came into the city that it was 20, and they were actively enforcing it.
Mhm.
And you know, I guess it's really up to the constituents and the citizens of the city, but you know, the difference in 20 and 30 mile an hour when you're traveling down a city street is pretty great. Your reaction time, your stopping distance, especially when a child pops out from behind a car or a tree or something like that. You know, it's the difference in 20 and 30 mile an hour are going to change your arrival time to any place in the city by less than a minute.
Right.
I think we should totally do it.
So, you know, that comes with a lot of grief as we dive into that as well, and enforcement and gaining compliance. Because if we're going to do that, then we need to stick by, that's the speed limit, and we're not allowing 25, and you know, they're gonna get upset because we're trying to gain compliance they're traveling at a speed of 25 and a 20 mile an hour zone. Well, that's 5 mile an hour over. Well, that's also 5 mile an hour to 20, not 5 mile an hour to 65.
Right. Right.
It can raise some turmoil, but you know, is it going to affect your destination time to anywhere in the city that much more by driving 20 instead of 30? You know, I think our children of this community are the most valuable product that we have, and our protection of them.
Well, we can make ordinances up here like crazy, but if we can't enforce them, you know.
Right,
So that was my question to you. What's your recommendation?
And they can be enforced, but you know, when we're stopping a car for 35 mile an hour, you know, out by Taco Bell in that 30 transition, you know, we're not usually issuing a citation for that. That's the gain compliance and show activity and let everybody know that we're out there. Slow down. But you know, when you're traveling at 25 and a 20, and we've done this for protection of children, whether that be a school zone or whatever, there's going to be some citations written to gain compliance to make sure everybody has the understanding that we didn't go through the ordinance process to get it passed. We didn't put the funds from the city into the signs that we erected to make sure everybody knew to sit back and let you drive in between 20 and 30. the speed limit's 20 if that's where we're gonna go.
Could an option be, I know you guys are overworked and overtaxed and everything with the resources, but as these complaints come in throughout the city, is it possible that we could respond by, having some presence there and actually post on Facebook or something and say,
We do it
hey,
all the time.
yeah,
I
okay.
mean, we get, Riley Park's gonna be a huge area
Mhm.
here in the next coming months as it warms up. Riley Park 20 mile an hour zone, the new school zone out on Sycamore. We invested in speed signs out there.
Ball diamond.
The ball diamond.
Yes.
But, it's going to get better, but I just came off of a weekend of night shift because that's where we are manpower wise. So, we're one day, one night is what we're on now. That's going to change very quickly and kind of gives me goosebumps as I talk about it because I think we're going to get there.
Mhm.
And such a great feeling, but all it takes is 3 calls for service or 4 calls for service in
Mhm.
a shift, and you're not getting to run much speed control.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I would hate to see something happen on that street after it's been brought to our attention by not taking some kind of action, but at the same time, there's, only so much we can do. How much are the signs, those solar signs that actually monitor
Oh, they're
speed?
Those that we put up out on Sycamore and Perry were $1,300 a piece.
Oh.
This could be a situation too where 80% of the people, if they see a 20 mile an hour sign, they're going to obey it. If some people see a 20 mile an hour sign, that means 25 or 30. If they see a 30, that means 35 or 40, right? In the back of their mind.
Yeah.
So just by dropping it down to 20, even without an additional police presence there, I think a good portion of the people will slow down into a lower range. They may not slow down to the 20, but you may get them down to 25 or 30 instead of 35 or 40. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Or could we put like a temporary sign out there too of some sort saying congested area, children at play or something, and actually just have a sign we rotate to that street? I'm just looking to have some kind of reaction to the citizens that have a concern with it.
I think you overall need to be looking at this citywide, and maybe it's not 20, maybe it's 25. Because if we're going to navigate this on Brady Street, next month we're going to have,
It's gonna be
there's
McDonald
short-
next because you got brick and they're saying, we got people parking on one side. I mean, it's just gonna keep moving. so.
It moves around.
Yeah.
The only thing about Brady out there in that area is if you got that median down the middle, and it's basically one lane each direction.
It is.
It's a little more congested than say Brady Street from there on north. I mean, it's a pretty wide street from there on north, but that area is tight.
Mhm.
So that's also just like on the south side of Perry Street, like towards Badlands and stuff. So like we live in the trailer court, obviously. So like whenever we're like turning in, you got the Badlanders on our tail, and then like once we turn in, they like immediately just speed right down the road.
You talk to him back here.
but there again,
Yeah.
we've positioned in the cemetery. We've ran radar enforcement out there. She brings up a very good point, but we've ran actual radar out there, and I've ran radar out there personally. 33, 34 mile an hour. Well, that's you're talking over 3 over.
Mhm.
And then we get rebuttal that they're speeding out there. Well, we've got to give them plus or minus 2 just on state statute for radar criteria. So
And they're loud also, the machines
but,
are loud.
Traveling 30 mile an hour in more narrow streets or congested areas where and curbs are tight, looks like you're doing 50.
Mhm.
Well, speed limit's 30. We're out there showing your presence. At 32, we're not stopping those individuals.
Tim and Judd both.
Tim-
I live on Perry Street, 900 block. and there's a lot of walkers, which I'm not one of them. I'm built.
You live
But-
on Brady Street.
Yeah, and the problem is that narrow spot, and then as soon as they come up there and they hit that stop sign, they don't have a stop sign until three more blocks. And there's no sidewalks on the 900 block. You got a lot of people walking with their animals and so forth. And one of the reasons why I came tonight is my family would be willing to donate $1,500 for one of those speed signs that we have. Because, and I do agree with citywide, make our residential areas 25 miles an hour. That's my opinion. That saved a lot of problems, but I'm still willing to make a donation of $1,500 for one of the signs, because they do slow people down.
It gets your attention. I know.
What about a stop sign in there? Stop sign would be pretty cheap.
I can go both ways with stop
They'll
signs,
still get up 30 miles an hour.
because then are you coaching more aggressive acceleration?
Yeah, how many rolling stops we had?
Right. It's another one of the 150 stop signs that we have in the city to
I came home from a ball game here a week or so ago, and I was coming down 6th Street there by the Moose Lodge and went to pull out onto Summit, and I looked to my right and there was a truck probably going 50 miles an hour through those new 4-way stops that we just put in. Nice flashing stop signs that you can't miss. And had I not stopped, he would have probably hit me. And then I was, probably 50 yards from that pulling out there, but he was going fast enough that it's a good thing I didn't pull out. So I don't know if there's even a flashing stop sign doesn't always get their attention.
Well, I think we wanted to do something for safety, and clearly there's an issue down there. So I don't know. The easy thing is to have maybe a patrol car sit down there for a little bit.
They've done that. I'll stay. They've done that. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things that the variety of the day when people's going to come down there.
Kids getting out of school is a big
In the
one.
morning, people taking their kids to school, kids driving to school, lunchtime, towards the end of the day. It's just a variety.
Have we bought extra signs? Is there any kind of extra signs in inventory or anything like that?
Such as
Well, the solar signs, those 1,300.
No, I had a hard time coming up with the money to buy those, but because I bought 4 at the same time. I mean, I'd like to have one of them right out here on Main Street coming down. Once they get past McDonald Park there, it's free for all till you get down here. There's a lot of places in town that could use those. North Perry, maybe a couple more of them down here on South Perry toward the library area or the Catholic Church area. There's places you can put. But then again, if you put too many of them up around town, do people get numb to them?
That's why it's almost like Chief was saying, just put a universal speed limit around for the city. And that's it. Say 25 miles an hour is your limit. That's as fast as you can go. I don't know. I mean,
I don't either. You're gonna make half the people mad no matter what you do.
well, and I know back when I was mayor, somebody got a speeding ticket out by Riley Field, and they were just PO'd because his wife had never got a ticket, and she was going 30 into 20 because that's 20, but it wasn't during soccer season or anything like that. There was no kids around, and that was kind of like, why is that 20 when there's no soccer even being played? And we could say the same thing about the baseball field. Like right now, if there's nothing going on, and we're still slowing everybody down to 20 miles an hour, should we just do that with the whole city? I mean,
And like the Riley Field, I've sat out there and wrote a lot of tickets, because they're 10, 12, 14 over. But if you'll sit out there even when there's things not going on at that park, there's a lot of kids in that area that will walk across that street to play in that park, even out and about or walking to friends' house. We have a lot of youth in that area. And if you'll sit up there for 1 or 2 hours, you'll see how much actual children we have moving around there.
I'm going to make a motion to table this, and so when Nate can get back and help us think on this. I think this is a little bit bigger than what we can solve tonight. So
I agree.
I'm gonna make a motion that we table it.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll table it till next month.
I have one question. You had brought up about like Taco Bell being out there. Tim has brought this up to our attention too. That speed limit, that is not city, right? All the way.
That's state.
That's state. Is there a way to get that changed as well? I mean, if we were making a sweeping,
Yeah, there is. It would require a pretty substantial financial investment from the city because the state really has no reason to change it. So
Okay.
you would have to petition the state, you would have to conduct a traffic study. You would have to then turn that traffic study into them for the reasons why. Your traffic study would then have to support that documentation and see if they're even willing to do it at that time.
And if we did that, we should approach the state about putting sidewalks in too, just for the fact that you can't walk up to that area.
Yeah.
There's no sidewalks after.
I
after
didn't
David Drive.
notice that until you mentioned it. I
And
looked at
if we
that.
could improve that walkability, that would make such a difference to
Yeah,
our
it would.
city, because everybody can
Yeah.
walk up to Taco Bell or Casey's or any place like that.
Mhm.
Even if we just had it on the one side, it then wouldn't have to be
Yeah.
on both
You're not
sides.
wrong. It was just I had somebody ask me about
There's
it.
ways to do it through the state.
It just still costs a
But
little time and money.
There's a process you have to go through. Joe, did you have?
Oh, so sorry, Joe.
To reduce the speed in town to less than 25, you've got to do a speed study. Unless there are children present, like a park,
You're talking about all over or?
on a street, on a non-highway street. So
So we're currently at 30.
if they're at 30, you can go to 25. and
We can
not
go to
have do
25
a-
then,
Not
okay.
have to do a traffic
Okay,
study.
That's good. Or we could go to 21.
It's less than 25, so you
Oh,
can do it
okay.
if you can do a traffic study.
The reason I saw that on the computer one day, there was a town that went to like 20.5 or something like that.
Crown Point or something does like 29, so
Yeah.
that they're like just less, so all the fine money goes into the city car. That's what built their city hall.
Okay,
There you go.
so we'll table that until next month, and feel free to dig into that a little bit, I guess, if you want to look at it. And it's good to know. Thank you about the who would do that study? Is that an HWC or?
Yeah, that'd be engineering.
Okay. Cindy Mason, dancing in the street, street closure, fireworks approval.
All the things.
Dancing in the Street's gonna be June 27th, that's the last Friday. And we don't know for sure, I think it'll depend on what the downtown looks like, and hopefully we can say more at the April meeting of what streets, but it'll be Berry Street again. I just don't know how far north we'll have to go. If we can close, closer to Jackson Street, we might do that, because that might be a better piece of land to go with, those first two blocks, as opposed to the last two. But, so we're working on that, June 27th. And then we can advertise fireworks after that.
And we'll have those at the river again, I assume. That worked out well.
That's fine with us, wherever you guys want to do it, if that's your.
I did have a gentleman in my office this afternoon, and you and I can talk, but he was imploring us not to close streets for more than the duration of the dancing in the streets. In other words, the stage that was brought in way before Dancing in the Streets started, and it didn't leave till after Dancing in the Streets was over. Same way with the restrooms that were brought in on Main Street, I'm Street. And those, I had to have the city guys go up there the next day and move those out of the street. He was questioning if we couldn't put the stage instead of in the street, if it needed to be here earlier, if we could put it like diagonally in the bank parking lot down there, so it would still face the street. You could still close the streets and dance in the streets, but when the thing's over, you move the barricades and you're golden. And I didn't think that was a bad idea. or we could move it down to the area where in the 200 block, along the side there, that park where we have the parallel parking, and you could open the street back up after it's over, and then they could come and get their stage whenever. I told them I'd bring that up, so for further discussion. Huh?
I said, so noted.
Okay.
I think the thing of it is that people don't realize that the one person that I had that had issue with that last time had city-free parking right next to their
I
facility.
know.
And I pointed that out to deaf ears. Also, the closed street also brings more foot traffic down to that area.
And I think we could
As
still,
opposed to cars driving.
no, I agree with you 100%. I pointed that out, but I also said that we could close the street for the dancing in the streets, but I don't know that it needs to be closed the day before and the day after as well. And that's essentially what happened with the stage and the
It
bathrooms.
wasn't the day before, it was the day of, and it was in the morning, because that's when they could deliver it.
Okay.
And I don't, I'm looking at a different location for the stage too.
Okay.
But I think that when you look at all things,
There's setup time too. It's not like you could just wave a magic
Right.
wand and it's all done.
it
You've gotta
takes probably
there's-
close to an hour for them just to set up the stage. It takes an hour for the band
Mhm.
to come in and just get ready and test out all the
Mhm.
stuff. So it's not just, it's gonna be closed from 5 to 9. That's not
I
gonna happen.
no, I get it. I was
I
just
know you do.
trying to pass along the concerns.
I accept it. I accept it. And
Okay.
we will work on that.
Okay. That's all I'm asking. Lexi is not here, but I have her on the agenda. Location for the summer farmers market. Have you talked any further to her?
Yeah, she said, sorry.
I think we need to discuss that more.
Yeah.
Lexi had
Before we announce it.
asked about putting it up McDonald
I
Park.
know, I
and
think
I-
Main Street needs to talk about that more.
Okay.
She had just asked didn't know if we could move it up there, and I had talked to Larry, and Larry you had some good thoughts on the parking situation. She came back and she had some good thoughts too. She said, but don't we also have like dancing in the streets there? And the Heritage Days. Or not dancing in the streets, sorry, Twilight Music Festival, and we're not having it there anymore?
I understand it's gonna be in Ravine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there
Because
just
there's no place to park up there.
oh I'm just sharing.
I know.
And she had said Twilight Music and Heritage Days were also up there, so she thought,
And Heritage Days is going to be down at the riverfront this year, so it's
yes.
not going to be up
So we're
there
maybe not
either.
going to have anything there actually.
Uh,
Are we doing spirits in the park this year?
No, we are not.
My suggestion was, and you guys don't have to decide tonight, but we've got a very nice brand new parking lot downtown at the corner of 41 and Perry Street. And you can actually drive through from 41 over to Mill Street, and there's parking there. And
I know, one of the things that she had thought about was the restrooms up there for
Mhm.
pickleball, and there aren't really restrooms downtown. And the playground for the kids. I think
And
when I-
shade, and how hot how
And I think when I go to other, places, they don't have playground equipment either, quite frankly. And some places do have restrooms, but most people, I don't know that is a strict requirement. It's nice for vendors to have
yeah,
that option. So I don't know if we could have, porta potties down there, if that's something. We're not actually gonna start the farmer's market until June. So hopefully we can come back with a better plan in April
okay.
and have things more worked out.
Okay.
But I like the downtown just because of the visibility
yeah.
of it.
And that corner spot is so. I mean, I know that the shade's not great, and there's no bathrooms, but
And I wonder about, are we gonna have electrical down there by then? Are you thinking, hopefully?
It's close. He hasn't started yet, so I'm not going to bank on it. We'll have it by June, but
Are we talking
That's a
like
city.
Coles and
No,
the other
I'm
one?
talking about the other ones down in the benches.
Okay,
Because that was part of the money that the city put into the streetscape project.
right.
And we have a successful bidder for that work, but he hasn't started yet. And I don't even know that I haven't signed the contract yet. So
Okay.
yeah, Eric's been working on getting those contracts. So.
Okay.
That's all I have. Our next regular meeting.
Wait, does it,
will be-
Tom, you have, when you do something?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry, Tom.
That's fine.
Didn't mean to cut you out.
No problem. I was gonna start jumping up and down.
I want to see that.
That's as close as we're gonna get. We have, as you know, been processing for the redevelopment commission an amendment to their economic development plan that would expand the economic development area to the city borders so that TIF money could properly be spent anywhere in the city, and also to put into the plan proposed acquisition of one cable lane, or that property, sometimes referred to that way. To make those amendments requires action by the redevelopment commission, which occurred earlier today, the plan commission, which occurred earlier today, and by the city council by resolution. And there's a resolution that would basically just approve that action by the redevelopment commission. It's pretty non-controversial, I think, and so that's what this first resolution does.
So I'm pretty cold on this. I don't know what you're
Yeah.
talking about. So
Yeah.
can you make me smart real quick, or make
Well,
me
I
informed?
don't- Yeah.
It might be harder
You
to make
don't
me
need me
smart.
to do that, but basically, why doesn't somebody describe the purpose of this one cable lane project? Probably.
We're looking to purchase the property to change it. Well, it's R1 right now, and we're gonna put 4 parcels on it to then sell off. And
Okay.
it's about 8 acres, so about 2 acres.
And where's this at?
It's right next to the golf course near Golf. What is it? I was
Go for it.
Golf Ridge. Golf Ridge goes on. Oh, it's on the other side of
And this
Golf
is,
Ridge.
and what is it going to end up being? It's our.
Houses.
It's R1.
houses.
Oh,
four
it's ours.
houses.
Single
Yes,
family
Yeah,
homes.
single family.
So
homes.
that's what this
And the
is for?
city, the
Yes.
city's
Okay,
not
I'm completely
purchasing
okay with
it.
that.
So yeah.
The city's
is
not purchasing it. It's the redevelopment commission, which is totally separate from the city.
Okay.
With TIF money, and then once that is parceled out, then we would sell those. But the good thing would be, like Tim has said, that we get to have a little bit of a say in what goes back there.
The development.
I mean, right now it's
Now you-
already zoned R1.
Yes.
Mhm.
So if you bought it and you wanted to build houses back there, there's really nothing to preclude you from doing that. Because it's already zoned R1, you could do it however you wanted.
We need houses, so I
There's-
think that's a good thing.
There was some talk of one individual, putting one individual house back there on 7 acres. And then that'd be nice, but 4 houses versus 1 brings a lot more tax revenue to the school and
Absolutely.
to the city. And I don't think 4 houses puts that much of a hardship on the people that already live back there.
Another
Say the
advantage- another
the people that
advantage
don't live
of doing
back
that is, as Essex Redevelopment Commission, we can have incentives for developers to come in. From outside developers, if somebody wanted to come in, so.
And build the homes.
I
And,
just
and,
want to say
and
too, this is a necessary step that the redevelopment commission needed to take in order to purchase that property. And so if we want to look at, developing our city and developing it in the way that we want it to be developed, in that area, the Economic Redevelopment Commission wanted to purchase that, but in order to do that, there's certain steps that we had to jump through. And Tom has, developed the protocol and the steps for us to proceed to do that.
And I think the other big thing was, which I'm glad that we did it, I forgot we talked about it, was now instead of just being one area, it's the whole city of
Yes.
Attica
That
That-
benefits.
That's
that
in
can
the TIF
benefit.
area,
It's all,
yeah.
in yes, so I think that was another, honestly, I feel like even bigger than
You talking
This-
as far as the TIF?
Yes.
where we can spend the money,
TIF can be
Right.
spent anywhere in the city
Yeah.
limits
That's
now
good.
instead of just a
instead of
specific
just that
area.
small area.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
now it can't, well, that's what we're trying to do now, instead of it just being
So it's-
those earmarked areas, it's the whole.
I mean, this helps
territory.
that project, but it also helps future projects that could come up.
Which I think is a huge benefit, obviously.
What will the resolution number be?
2025-0310
E,
E.
Dash 010E.
0310E.
2025.
Do you have
10.
a
2025-03103. E,
Yeah.
okay.
You have A through D?
We have A, B, RC, somebody else labeled, and D.
Me.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks
I
for.
Yeah, you.
So I guess somebody needs the motion. Is that
Yes.
right? Okay, well, I'll make the motion that we approve this.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion, and a second, all in favor?
I,
Motion carries unanimously.
And Mayor, I've got one more
Okay,
council resolution. Okay. The redevelopment commission is assisting the fire protection territory and the city in connection with borrowing money for extensions and improvements to the fire station. The vehicle for doing that I recommended involved a bond issued by the redevelopment commission that would be paid entirely from funds provided to the commission by the fire protection territory. That's already part of their ongoing budget. And earlier today, the redevelopment commission passed the bond resolution. State law requires that anytime the redevelopment commission does a bond issue, that the city has to also, the city council has to also approve that bond issue. And so that's really all this resolution does.
will this be F?
Yes.
Okay. I make a motion, we accept 2025-0310-F.
Is this for the project that is already taking place for the remodel?
for the fire station.
fire
Fire
station,
station?
yes.
So it's already underway.
Yes.
Okay, and this is just the bond to pay for it.
Exactly.
Okay, I second it.
Have a motion, a second, all in favor?
I,
Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Now, before I jump the gun again, is there anybody going here? Next regular meeting is Monday, April 14th, 2025. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I'm tired. I'm going to bed.
That's a record.
Fine, sir.
What did you say?
Since you got like 5 kids, you got no
Hey, are you
bed.
adding another one? 'Cause I
You go to bed at 6:50.
I
She does NyQuil, it's NyQuil. Popsicles.